They're completely incapable of doing that. Like, I've talked to 40 senators and congressmen in the last 5 years. I asked them all the same question, including RFK. He wouldn't answer either. When does the left go too far? Well, we certainly bloody well saw it in the last month, didn't we? Because they got the oppressive narrative a little mucked up, we might say.
Jordan Peterson went on Bill Maher's show, Real Time with Bill Maher, and absolutely schooled not just Bill Maher, but the entire panel. Things got pretty crazy, and Jordan Peterson just handled all of these woke idiots here on Real Time with Bill Maher. Let's get into this clip where Jordan Peterson not just schools Bill Maher, but like I said, schools this entire panel of woke idiots.
But what happens is that they are then saying that being oppressed is being good. I don't know if the Holocaust.
Yeah, well, this is the main issue. I mean, part of the reason that you see all this foolishness on university campuses too is because people have bought this idiot meta-Marxism, which is that the way to look at every social relationship that people ever have is through the lens of power. And that is, we can put that squarely at the feet of the universities, as far as I'm concerned, is, you know, marriage is a patriarchal institution and business is nothing but oppression, and you have to view every single situation that emerged historically as oppressor versus oppressed. And then once you get that, which you can get in about 2 minutes if you sit in a course that teaches that sort of thing, you have a lens to moralize about the whole world through. And then you see the situation is that the leftists have already decided the Palestinians are the victims. And as you pointed out, if you're a victim, then you're morally righteous. And even more conveniently, if you stand for the victim, then you're morally righteous, regardless of what you do with your own life. And that's pretty much what university students are taught from the time they enter the university classroom. And that's how they, you know, orient themselves morally. Well, and that's at the hands of the radical left, too, Bill. And one of the things the Democrats also have to pay the price for, I would say, is their absolute refusal to draw a line between the moderate Democrats and the extremists.
It's so spot on, man. I've criticized Jordan Peterson about a ton of different things. There is no notes for that one. Like, he's completely correct. And he's right in the fact that, number one, college campuses are just propaganda machines. They're just propaganda camps. That's all they are. And number two, they teach all of their students, not just teach, they brainwash, they force all of their students. Like, I've been to college, you know, I've been to college pretty recently, 3-4 years ago. And even 3-4 years ago, you know, there was teachers that would give you bad grades if you wrote positively about Donald Trump. It's like no joke. I'm not even joking. And so they basically brainwash you. They force you to think a certain way. And once you have this worldview, once you view the world through a certain lens like this, it becomes your entire compass for just life in general. You start to view everything through this lens of, wait, who is powerful here and who is not powerful? And then you start to just fight for the person who is not powerful at all times. That's just how life works. Like, not everybody is going to be equal in every single situation of life. How life works is, like, there's certain people who are powerful in certain situations. Like, okay, let's say there's a CEO, right? When he goes into the office, he is powerful. He's a powerful person in that situation. Maybe he has boxing lessons at the end of the day where he's a beginner boxer. His boxing coach now has power in that situation over that CEO. That doesn't mean that CEO who is taking boxing lessons is oppressed all of a sudden. That's just how power dynamics work, and that's okay. That's a normal thing. It's a normal human phenomenon. But the leftists and the propaganda camps have trained everyone to think that power dynamics are inherently a bad thing. And like Jordan Peterson said here to Bill Maher, they view the entire world through that lens, and it's only good, it's only celebrated, they're only accepted if they stand with the quote-unquote victim, with the person who is being quote-unquote oppressed. But they're not. They're not victims always. Sometimes they are, but they're not victims, and they're not oppressed always. Sometimes there's just a power dynamic, and that's normal. That's okay. But to these people, their brains are just broken, man. Common sense does not apply to them. Their brains are broken.
They're completely incapable of doing that. Like, I've talked to 40 senators and congressmen in the last 5 years. I asked them all the same question, including RFK. He wouldn't answer either. When does the left go too far? Well, we certainly bloody well saw it in the last month, didn't we? Because they got the oppressive narrative a little mucked up, we might say. And
there's also another clip here that I want to show you guys. Let's get into this other clip where Jordan Peterson just goes nuclear on an entire panel of woke guests here on Real Time with Bill Maher.
Someone send them home. When Joe Biden started, we had the lowest rate of illegal immigration in 45 years. And he came in and he immediately reimposed catch and release, and it produced the worst rate of illegal immigration in our nation's history. I spent a lot of time at the border. I go out on midnight patrol with Border Patrol agents.
Really?
Many times. You should come. I'll actually bring you if you're interested. If you want to see...
No.
I will tell you this, actually, Bill. If you saw what was happening, you would be horrified, because the people being abused by the traffickers, you don't understand it till you see it firsthand, and it is immoral what's happening at our southern border.
I take your word.
Okay?
I don't have to go.
But it is easy to fix, because what
It's
actually...
also easy to joke about when you're like, it really, Bill Maher says some things sometimes and I'm like, oh, he's coming around. And then he jokes about things and I'm just like, man, that's just not something to joke about. And, I just don't think that's something to joke about personally. I don't want to be like a pearl clutcher. I just don't think I think it's pretty insensitive to joke about that stuff. I have a friend who was in Homeland Security and he worked in Texas as well. And he would tell me, stuff about what happens at the border with these traffickers and everything. And it is horrible, man. It's horrible stuff happening. And to joke about it, and then Bill Maher makes jokes about like the abortion topic where he's like, yeah, I do think it is murder. I just don't care. Like, oh, that's just wild. That's crazy. And he says it proudly. He smiles about it. He laughs about it. His audience laughs about it. Let's get into this Jordan Peterson clip, though, where Jordan Peterson cooks these guys. It's coming up here in a second.
Actually worked is we had an agreement with Mexico that was called the Remain in Mexico Agreement, which says that if someone crossed into Mexico illegally from typically Central or South America, they would remain in Mexico while their asylum case was proceeding in the U.S., and the numbers plummeted. We had the lowest rate, as I said, in 45 years, and then Biden came in and ripped that international agreement to shreds, and that's what produced now 8.4 million illegal aliens since Biden's been president.
Boy, I walked right into that one, didn't I?
Yes.
I know you know this. This is part of your... But, all right, let me ask it a different way. Do you think if we attacked it from the reverse angle, in other words, if we punish the employers...
Absolutely.
It would, and you think we should?
Oh, look, I am all for E-Verify. I would absolutely punish the employers, and I've introduced legislation to do that multiple times.
If you enjoy content like this, then make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It really does help me out a ton. Let's get back to the video.
And what happened? Your party must not like that because we know cheap labor is good.
So, look, there are a lot of Republicans who don't like that. They're fewer, but I do think that the Republican Party is changing. I think we're becoming much more of a blue-collar party, which I think is a very good thing.
Okay. This is for... They are switching, aren't they? Yes, it's interesting. The parties are kind of switching, like who the elitists are. It used to be the country club Republicans, and now it's the Chardonnay sipping Democrat.
Yeah.
I know you've written about it. It's an interesting do-si-do the parties do.
It's almost happened completely in Canada now. The Conservatives are basically the working class party in Canada.
Right.
Yeah. Look, the heart of the Republican Party are truck drivers and steel workers and cops and firefighters. And I think that is a fantastic shift. I think we should be the party of jobs. We should be the party of people who want to work hard.
Okay.
Yeah, you can tell when Bill Maher is losing in an argument because he always just tries to he always just tries to switch topics, man. He loves having those little cards in his hand. Every time he's getting cooked, he's getting teamed up on by Ted Cruz and Jordan Peterson. He's like, all right, let me look at my cards. Next question. And his audience obviously loves him. But Jordan Peterson, like I said, it's coming up here in a second, where Jordan Peterson just cooks him and leaves his audience stunned. Like they literally don't even know what to say. They don't laugh. They don't do anything. And Bill Maher's audience always tries to bail him out of things. He can't get bailed out of this one. Let's see what else Jordan Peterson and Bill Maher have to say here.
For Jordan, are men more susceptible to loneliness than women?
No. Well, we know this. So at puberty, women become more sensitive to negative emotion than men, and then that's permanent on average through the entire life course. And it looks like it's associated with hormonal changes. And so cross-culturally, women experience higher levels of depression and anxiety and shame and guilt, all the negative emotions that clump together. And so loneliness is a pain-related emotion, and women are more susceptible to that.
What do you know?
I don't agree. I mean, if you just maybe like biology wise, but if you have to factor in for society currently, maybe biology wise, women have the genes to be more susceptible to loneliness. But if you just look at current modern day society, I mean, definitely on average, there's more men that are lonely than women, and there's kind of no debating that at all, just because of the direction that modern day society is in. Women are just placed on this pedestal, and you know, they're kind of just worshipped by men with, you know, the OnlyFans stuff and Instagram models and stuff like that. And I don't think there's many women out there that feel very lonely. It's kind of hard for women to feel lonely. You just post an Instagram story and all of a sudden you don't feel lonely anymore, you know? So I think there's a whole lot more lonely men. So I maybe Jordan Peterson has the science to back it up where, you know, biologically women are more susceptible to it. If we're looking at the real stats in current day, I mean, it's very obviously men.
Everybody recognizes that women, girls, mature faster than boys. I mean, this is why they're going out with the upperclassmen. And at any age, they usually don't want somebody exactly their age, even though this country is like crazy for age appropriate. God forbid we go out of that. But what do you think, if you had to name a number, pick of like how far ahead the women are years-wise?
Well, we know women prefer men 4 years older cross-culturally.
4?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
But
and it's not necessarily only a matter of maturation. It's also the case that women are more attracted by socioeconomic status and productivity than men are in relationship to
how
women.
many years head start does a man need to match his maturity level to a woman's level? I think 40.
Well, there's wide individual differences in that too, Joe.
I'm learning a lot about women here.
Am I wrong about that?
Well, I'm.
Okay.
Yeah. I would say I have a different view of women from Jordan.
What do you mean, different?
Well, I mean, the depression, anxiety, what else do we have that's loneliness, everything negative that
no, not everything negative. Just
Okay.
because men are much more likely to be aggressive and to end up in prison and to be alcoholic, and they're overrepresented in learning disabilities. Like there are sex differences in psychopathology, and they're not all tilted negatively towards women. Definitely not.
Yeah, this is like one of those people where you just can't tell them facts when it comes to, you know, being a woman or a certain race or whatever. Even if there's all the statistics in the world, all the scientific research to back it up, this is the type of person that just will not accept facts if it sounds hurtful to her. If it hurts her feelings, she's gonna be like, oh, you're just misogynist, you're just sexist. I don't know who this is. Her name's Pamela Paul. I've never heard of her before, but I can just already tell she's one of those people. You're just a misogynist, you're a sexist, you're a racist. Yeah, we've heard it all before. That doesn't affect Jordan Peterson, doesn't affect anybody really anymore. He's just going to spout off the facts, and you could tell she doesn't like it. Let's see what happens here.
So, but negative emotion, it's absolutely clear that that's the case, and it's the biggest differences are in the countries that have the most gender equal economies and socioeconomic structures. So the differences between men and women in terms of sensitivity to negative emotion maximize in Scandinavia.
Wow.
So
Scandinavians are also much happier than we are, though.
yeah,
Well,
but comparatively, their women are less happy. So
I mean, and I've seen those surveys too. I find it a very difficult thing to quantify happiness, or it's kind of like that pain chart in the hospital, 1 to 10. Like somebody's 3 is somebody else's 8. You know what I mean? How happy are they really in Scandinavia? I don't know.
well, it's
I know
happiness.
this.
It's actually a decent point there by Bill Maher. Pain is 100% relative, you know. The same pain that you might feel as an adult for losing a family member, a little girl feels whenever she loses her favorite teddy bear. You know, pain is relative. So Bill Maher is correct there, but Jordan Peterson just absolutely cooked everybody, in my opinion. Let me know in the comments what do you guys think about this appearance by Jordan Peterson on Real Time with Bill Maher. I thought it was a great one. I thought he put these woke people in their place, including Bill Maher and this Pamela Paul person. Let me know in the comments though, what do you guys think about this whole Jordan Peterson versus Bill Maher and this woke panel situation?